Wild by that outstanding journey. This time around, an African and Nigerian wants to look at borderless Africa, really. What does that mean? And for Pelumi, she did it to break barriers and empower women. But we're going to be talking about a historic drive from Nigeria to Ethiopia to promote borderless Africa, and this time with a very own Nigerian brand. The team lead, Tourism Africa Project, Ambassador Phil Roberts, the digital Director, Platform Tourism Across Africa Project, Hilary Onyejekwe, and the Vice Chairman of Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria, FCT, Mr. Aturu Samson Abiodun. And they're all here with me in the studio. A drive from Nigeria to Ethiopia. So you're talking about driving from West Africa to the Horn of Africa. So it's not like he's driving within West Africa alone, bordering countries on Kenya and Chad alike. You're welcome to the show, Mr.
Thanks
Phil.
so much.
All right, so first of all, let's start with congratulations on thinking it.
Thank you.
Let me even go there first. And happy Independence Day.
Thank you so much.
Now, what prompted the idea of driving from Nigeria to Ethiopia to mark Nigerian independence anniversary? Not to Ghana, to Ethiopia.
Okay, so thanks so much. Last year, we did a project called Tourism Across the Niger, where I trekked from Abuja to Delta State.
Okay.
I did that because I wanted to show the world that Nigeria is secured, because we have this social media mantra that once you get into Nigeria, you'll be kidnapped, there's banditry and all of that. And as somebody who promotes tourism, that is not good for our country, because I promote Nigeria in the global space for tourism. So a lot of times when I travel outside Nigeria, I see what people talk about Nigeria. And I'm like, no, that's not true. So that is why I decided that I was going to trek from Abuja to Delta State to promote Nigerian tourism potentials and Nigerian opportunities. But you cannot do that when there is insecurity. So insecurity is a major destroyer of tourism. And as somebody who promotes tourism, I had to do that. So, and that gave another sound and another voice for Nigerian tourism. People started knowing more that Nigeria is secured for tourism. So we looked at one of the things we always face when we travel out of Nigeria. You see that your passport, when they look at your passport, they look at you somehow. And one of the things the African Union has been promoting is a borderless Africa. And one of the things the African Union has also been promoting is the economic opportunities in Africa. And of course, our major organization, which is Jet Age Nation Builders, big thanks and big shout out to our boss, Dr. Young Piero, who is the biggest Pan-African I've ever known. He's the director for the African Union, under the African Union Agenda 2063, and he's been promoting that. And we'll try to see how we could work with African Union to now build a borderless Africa, to promote the Africa Free Trade Agreement. And we did all that by designing a project where we are going to be driving from West Africa to East Africa. So that was how Tourism Across Africa was born. So he began discussing with different organizations and of course the African Union apparatus, and we came up with the idea on the countries we're going to be driving. So we're not just driving, yeah, that's the car we're going to be going with. You see, it's branded African Union and all of that, the countries we're going to be going. So it's not just driving across Africa, but we're now driving to promote all the tourism opportunities in those countries. Yeah, to showcase that Africa has a major tourism potential. In fact, that Africa is a tourism destination. We want to stop people from promoting Africa as when you like people with poverty and all of that. That's what we see everywhere. So Dr. Piero came up with the idea of we need to showcase Africa. And Phil, since you've done this project last year, you trekked from Nigeria, from Abuja to Delta State, then we can do it. And that was how Tourism Across Africa was born. We spoke to the minister, spoke to a couple of people, and spoke to, of course, the Ethiopian embassy, and they liked the idea. Yeah, they liked the idea. So the concept is that we're going to be driving to African Union headquarters. So even this vehicle that we're going to be going with is going to be like a monument at the front of African Union headquarters. It's going to be there. They're going to show that some guy drove from Nigeria on the 1st of October, which is our independence, to Ethiopia with this car, of course, with different autographs on the car. And of course, he said, I'm putting on the green, white, green of my country. Last year, when I trekked from Abuja to Delta State, the women of my community, Ndukwa, I'm from Ndukwa East, from a community called Onichuchi in Delta State. And the women gave me this when I got home, when I trekked from Abuja to Delta State. They gave me this. This is Ndukwaniku.
Okay.
The
I
women.
see women's wing on it.
The women's wing of Ndukwaniku.
Yes.
Ndukwaniku is like the biggest organization
Okay.
or association or whatever in
women.
Ndukwa land.
Okay.
So the women were so happy that their son did this, and we used that to promote my state, Delta State,
Fantastic.
and showcasing the various tourism opportunities in my state.
Okay, let me, before I ask you how many of you are embarking on this trip, let me come to Mr. Aturu. I mean, you are the Vice Chairman of the Federation of Tourism Association.
For FCT.
For FCT.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
I mean, starting from, of course, he's going to be driving from the
FCT.
federal capital,
Yeah.
the FCT,
Yeah.
to other countries. What does this mean for Nigeria at this moment?
Thank you very much. This is a very big, unique opportunity for us to promote the Federal Capital Territory, because there are a lot of tourism potential in the Federal Capital Territory. And the Honorable Minister is doing wonderfully well by building superstructures, the infrastructures that are required to drive tourism growth and tourism development. And that is why we are happy to be part of this unique opportunity, driving from Abuja to Addis Ababa. It's like exporting Nigeria, packaging Nigeria in one single product and selling it to other African countries. This project will sell Nigeria and globally and within Africa, because we are trying to now promote what we call the African Free Trade Agreement. And if Nigeria is part of it, we should create a borderless Africa that people can move across borders and be able to interact in terms of culture, tradition, visiting heritage sites, and various tourism attractions in FCT. So we have places like the Wushafa Pottery in Abuja. We have the Ladikwali. Dr. Ladikwali is the famous potter in FCT, and it's known worldwide. And so we want to promote such major attractions in Abuja. And that is why we felt we should be part of this project. And promote it globally to the audience.
All right, so let me come to the Director Digital Platform. I mean, Hillary, what is the sense and, I mean, the feeling you're getting online? Because I'm sure that this conversation has already gone online. People are joining in to say, well done. But what do you get any sense of deja vu that, is this possible?
Okay, thank you very much. So far, people that care to listen are already keen into this. Because if you check this project, it's Africans telling African story. So we want to bring out something, JetAid want to bring out something that Africans will be telling African story. Not that if you want to know about Cameroon, you'll be reading articles on CNN. I'm not saying that is bad, right? But Chinua Achebe used to say that until the lions start telling their own stories, the hunter will always be glorified. So it is left for us Africans and as youth to start telling our story, right? It is easier for us as those of us in Africa to be telling people outside there that this is it. Some of our people in the UK, in the diaspora, they have coming back, they'll be like insecurity. Okay. But all of us here are not dead. We are still, driving. We are still driving right now in Nigeria, living our lives, right? Indeed. So until you get there, or until you have a reliable source that is telling you this is what's on ground, the media may not always be what's expected. So far online, people, other Pan-Africans are really interested in this. Our colleagues in other African countries are also expecting to see us.
Okay, let me come back to Phil Roberts. Now, where are you going to take off from? How many are you embarking on this journey? And what countries do we see you driving through? So
we're going to go through 10 countries. We're leaving from, of course, FCT. We're flagging up from FCT. The project was unveiled by the PAMSEC of the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Arts and Culture on World Tourism Day. So, but today we're flagging up for the FCT. The FCT minister has instructed that the Director for Tourism and the PAMSEC does the flag off from Area 10, Arts and Culture, because that was where I trekked from last year to Delta State. So I decided to go back to my roots. So FCT is like my home. They made me who I am in tourism. And of course, I've been staying in Abuja. So I decided to go from my house to Ethiopia. So I'm going from Nigeria to Cameroon, Cameroon to Central African Republic, Central African Republic to Congo, Congo Brazzaville. We get to
Congo Brazzaville. Yeah,
we'll now get to Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya. Then we get into Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, because that is where the African Union is planning a major summit to receive me with the African Union structures. They are holding the first ever PPP summit, public-private sector summit. So Dr. Young Piero is going to be receiving me with the African Union apparatus, the chairman, and all of them will be receiving me in that summit, showing that you can travel across Africa. So I want to encourage everybody to be in Addis Ababa, not just to receive me on the last day, which is on the 28th of October, but also to join in that summit to be a voice. And I'm trying to do this, we are trying to do this in Jet Age to show people that if Ambassador Phil Roberts can travel from Nigeria to Ethiopia,
So,
then you can
I mean, how do we follow you on social media? Because a lot of young'uns will want to get involved.
Yeah, we're going to be 5 on the team. I'm going to be driving, of course. Hillary is going to be putting that out on social media.
Absolutely.
And Jet Age Nation Builders, all in our social media platform. And of course, Phil Roberts for you, because we're going with a drone pilot. We're also going with someone on camera. So it's a big project, and we decided to put everything so that Nigerians and people all over the countries that we're going to be passing through will be getting full-time.
All right. Well, this is a fantastic, initiative. African storytelling on Wales, Borderless Africa, commencing from the FCT to 10 African countries. And, I mean, they say Nigerians are resilient. This is just a top-notch. Congratulations. And we hope to see you in the conference at the end of the day. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So we've been talking to, of course, about the historic drive from Nigeria to Ethiopia to promote Borderless Africa with the team lead TOURISM4AFRICA project, Ambassador Phil Roberts, the digital platform Tourism Across Africa project, Hilary Onyejekwe, and the vice chairman of Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria, FCT, Mr. Aturu Samson Abiodun. And they have said, well, if Nigeria is the safest place in Africa, then why don't investors come on in their droves? And he's going to prove it on Wales driving to 10 countries. Thank you so much for coming. Well, up next is entertainment.